Welcome, everybody, to the Sybk Hockey Show Playoff Edition. I'm here to recap last night's game and give you a rundown of the playoffs. I'll probably be sending recap videos throughout the playoffs because it's the fastest and easiest way for me to reach out to you guys. That being said, last night, unfortunately, we only had one game as we sent out an email earlier in the day on Sunday, and we send our condolences to the Cavasso family. And that being said, we had one game. The one game last night was the Oilers versus Knights, the 1-4 matchup. The 1-4 matchup with the Oilers having a 1-0 series lead in a best-of-3 series. So it was a win or go home for the Knights, and I think it was probably the first time or maybe the second time all season that the Knights showed up with a complete team. On the contrary, the Oilers were shorthanded from the get-go. They were missing Sam Laniato, who was out with the flu, Joe Beta, who was out with concussion. He got hit a couple of weeks ago, so he's going through the concussion protocols. But both teams had to play with the cards that they were dealt, and the game started off back and forth right away. Not many chances for both teams. The Oilers were controlling play in the beginning of the game. Both goalies keeping it very, very tight. And then the scoring started in the first. The Oilers weren't unable to get a puck out of the zone, and it came back to a rebound in front, and Jeffrey Towell was able to put one in to give the Knights a 1-0 lead. And then it was with 56 seconds left in the first period where the Oilers thought that they'd come out of the period with 1-0, only down 1-0, and it looked like they took the gas off the pedal a little bit by pushing forward. We're sitting back a little bit, and if you sit back against a team like the Knights, guys like Arya Bortz are going to strike, and so he did with just 56 seconds left in the first period, and the Knights had a 2-0 lead going into the first, and boy, were these guys ecstatic. I don't know if they didn't believe in themselves, but I know for sure at the end of the first period, they did start believing because they were playing with a pep in their step, skating probably the best I've seen them skate, defending the best I've seen them defending all season long. But the Oilers wouldn't go away quietly, and in the second, with just 40 seconds into the second period, they were able to score and cut the lead down to a 2-1 deficit, and it stayed that way throughout the second period, and the Oilers took a 2-1 lead going into. The Knights took a 2-1 lead going into the third. Now, I mentioned the Oilers were short, and they were even shorter last night as there was a huge collision between Elliott Sutton and Victor Silverman at center ice. It was a freak accident where there was a head-on-head collision, and both players got a little woozy, and Elliott tried to make, I know for the Oilers, Elliott tried to make a play for a couple of shifts, but it just wasn't working out. He was dizzy, nauseous, and it forced the Oilers to play even with a shorter bench. So I bring that segment in because the Sybk Hockey Show this week is sponsored by Power Forward. Power Forward is a financial planning group who is selling life insurance. So if anybody needs some life insurance, especially with the big hits that have been going on during playoff hockey, go see Jack J-Ho Horowitz. He's part of this group, and we're very excited for them to be the new sponsor of the Sybk Hockey League. Moving on into the third period, again, back and forth. Oilers had a couple of chances, even more on the power play for a bit, but with I think it was about 9 minutes left in the third period, Arya Bortz was able to make a move, shoot through a screen, and was able to put one past Ray T. He wasn't able to see it being screened, and the Knights were up 3-1, a commanding 3-1 lead, especially with the Oilers being short-handed the entire bench. But then there was a little bit of hope as the Oilers, with about 3 minutes left in the game, were or had a 5-on-3 advantage for about 30 seconds, but unfortunately weren't able to cash in. And the Knights were able to hold off and win the game 3-1, as the Knights now forced a game 3, which will be, check out the schedule later in the week to see when it will be played. One playoff game down, all 4 teams still remaining. A quick playoff preview: Tuesday night we will have the Coyotes versus the Minnesota Wild, and at Aviator, a one and done. Winner will advance to the finals. Loser will go home. Who will it be on Tuesday night? Who do you got, Wild or Coyotes? See you all on the rink Tuesday night.